psyop.
Taylor Swift is not a 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 psyop.
Taylor
Taylor
Swift
Swift is not a psyop. Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
This is extremely dangerous.
Jarrett, you know all about psyops. Is Taylor Swift a psyop?
Taylor Swift is not a psyops. Taylor Swift is not a psyop. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry. I was just so brainwashed by the propaganda. It's hilarious. I love how they think we can't check other news stations. You know what? I can't say yes or no. She's a psyops, but she's definitely being used to push an agenda. And isn't that what a psyops is basically at its roots? Someone using something to push an agenda. Man, it's just, you know, these Swifties, man. Taylor, the queen of the Swifties. She's so nuts.
Can you tell us, Jarrett, what a psyops is and why you know about them?
Oh, a psyops is a psychological operation. So it's done by media, the military, the government. I'm well versed in psychological operations because that's a thing that you do when you work public affairs, psychological affairs, or civil affairs in the military. You know, we use psyops. It's something that's been used forever from the dawn of time. Hey, when they convinced them to kill Jesus, that was a psyops. You know? Really? That's psychological operation. You know, they lied to the masses and put out fake media, fake news to get people to flip on him and let him being crucified. So, you know, that's the dangers of a psyops. You know, the people who use it the most, that use it actually the best, were the Nazis. And that's why this is scary. This is why this is dangerous, because look at the destruction they caused by using that psyops. And now the American public is under one right now by our government to get us to vote their way, get us to have our children mutilate their genitals, to get us to give up all our inalienable rights that are bestowed on us by God. And for one, I'm not going to stand for that. You know, you're not going to get me with that nonsense. I can see through the clouds. I see the God behind the curtain. I see God pulling the strings, and you're not going to get me. And we're going to do everything in our power. That's why I love 511 Media, to expose these psychological operations and every chance that we get, even if it brings us down ourselves.
That's right. And we're, you know, we just bring it, and I you know, unashamedly don't care, frankly, but we get a lot of fake love from the libs in social media land. And I know, Jarrett, you were responding to a comment that someone was it pretty racist, or like someone basically said, hey, you can be dumb and black at the same time, is more or less what they were saying, right?
Oh yeah, it was a liberal, and the comment was, stupidity knows no color. And I was told I was stupid because I don't fall for these liberal talking points. I am a free thinker, and I think for myself. The one thing about liberals, when you're a minority or a woman and you're a free thinker, they attack you. They say, oh, you're a sellout. You don't respect your own kind. You know, you're stupid. So it's stupid to want closed borders. It's stupid to want illegal immigrants to go the right way. It's stupid to want to back the blue. So to them, it's stupid to want lower taxes. It's stupid to want to afford food in my house and my kids to go to school and not pay billions of dollars for useless degrees. See, this is the nonsense they push on us because they want to indoctrinate us. They tell black people, you cannot think for yourself. You must think for us. See, again, I'll say this, and I love saying this, the Democrats want to be your master. They want to be master. They want us to be slaves and beholden to them. You know, so, you know, they do it to black people because we're willing to fall for it. We fall for that because we have the slave mentality. And now, Mike, they're doing it to everybody. Just look at California. So many people vote for such asinine things because they're slaves to the government. You know, they're slaves to the benefits. But they're also a slave to their superiority, to the complex they have, thinking they're so special. They're a slave to their own arrogance too, and that's ridiculous. You know, and I wish out to everyone watching today. Thank you for always tuning in. Because of people like you, we're able to do things like this, and we'll continue to do things like this because it's important. It's important to get this message out, Mike. And I know Swifties are going to be mad at us, you know, but it's okay, Swifties. If you have a problem, email me, Dr. I don't care.
Bring it.
Go back and forth.
We don't care. But I love what you were saying about they want to keep us in bondage, and especially the Black population for whatever reason. And Darius, I don't know if we have that clip that I shared with you from Night of Faith, where we were talking to Vince Ellison, and we were talking about Malcolm X. Hey, Amber, love you, sis. Yes, you have it. Okay, go ahead and bring it up.
So I know you mentioned Martin Luther King.
Yeah, we talked about that in the hallway.
So why did they ignore Malcolm but push Martin?
Because Martin made us, the one thing that they wanted to do with all the civil rights movement is get black people to vote for the Marxists and the communists and take over the Democratic Party. And that's what we did. We put the Marxists and communists in charge of the Democratic Party. Our votes did it. And Martin Luther King Jr. was the one that led them to it. He was a Marxist. There's no doubt about that. That even the papers in Russia said that he was. He was a communist. The money that the bankroll of the civil rights movement came out of Moscow through Stanley Levinson. Stanley Levinson was the number one communist in America. And the Kennedys told King to leave him alone. All of them told him he would not, because they had it. King was a die-in-the-war Marxist. He wasn't a Christian. And first he was a pervert.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of that too.
We talked about that on the show.
Oh man, orgies, drunk, fighting. He's a libertine, and he was one his whole life. And when Stanley Levinson and the communists got him, the guy that ran the SCLC was a communist. His name was Jack O'Dell. He's a stone cold communist. Yeah. So there was a communist movement. You had about 8 latent black votes down, 8 million latent black votes down south and in the inner cities. The communists said, we can get these black people to vote for the Democratic Party. We can start running our communist candidates.
How did they trick the same people that kept them in Jim Crow and slavery and everything else into voting for these people?
Ralph Bunche won the Nobel Prize for the Israel-Palestine. This guy by the name of Gunnar Myrdal, he was a Nobel Prize winner from Sweden. The Ford Foundation sent him down south in the 30s to find out why black people have such a difficult time living in America. The Comintern had already come down earlier to try to get the black farmers and white farmers to become communists by saying, y'all come together, we can start, yada, yada, yada. They wouldn't do it. The black farmers wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. And the communists didn't understand. They asked Ralph Bunche, what's going on here? Ralph Bunche said, you're talking about economics. He said, yeah, that worked in Russia. He said, that doesn't work in America. What do we need to offer them then? You have to offer them to be next door to their masters. The one thing a black person wants in the South is to be loved by his master. You got to offer them integration. And if you tell them that you're going to allow him to sit on the bus beside him, use the toilet beside him, eat beside him, go to his colleges, he'll do anything you ask him. Forget the money. Offer him that. And that's what they did. And that's how they got them to join.
So, Jared, I love your Hawaiian shirt there. But we're gonna be bringing Vince in a future episode to the show. But we had a great time over there at Night of Faith in Philadelphia. We got to I got to take my son out, and we got to do some cool stuff. But Jared, I love owning the libs in the in social media land. And if you guys are out there, you guys see the libs come unhinged all the time, and some of the hate and it's funny at the same time. It's not funny because the same rhetoric, the same hateful comments that come from the libs, and we know people personally, some of our contributors like Viv Ivy, that are ex. And she got excommunicated from her own people group, who was her own people group, no longer, because she just started questioning things and thinking different. But they don't like you to think different, and they like to talk a lot of trash, because that's about all they can do, because what they stand for is just a bunch of garbage. And so we have a fun time on social media, owning the libs in social media land. Do we have any of those comments we can bring up, Darius?
Yeah, it's fun. They come with such nonsense, and they have nothing tangible, nothing makes sense. It's just trash. And the comments are so juvenile. Like, I love a good debate. If you want to go back and forth and debate stuff, yeah, let's go. I respect someone who has an alternate perspective, but can stand by their principles and debate it like an adult. Like, if you're flinging mud, calling people names, like, oh, Mike, you're so racist and sexist because you're white. Oh, Jared, you're a sellout coon because as a black man, you need to support all this black man stuff. How dare you support something that makes sense? You need to support this crap. That's how they go. And it's funny,
Yeah.
like, I don't know who's worse, these liberals or these Taylor Swift fans, right? Because they act the same. You know, they both, you know, they act the same with everything. They take Taylor Swift's word as gospel, and you know, and it's just insane, and it's not true. And I wish that the younger generation would get this, would understand that people like Taylor Swift or Steph Curry don't care about you. They care about their bottom dollar. Miss Environmental flies on private jets all the time, but tells you not to eat meat anymore because cows fart too much, right? This is the nonsense that the left pushes. And we're like, oh, yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, dude, that's so right. You know, because Taylor Swift said it. Like, where's Kanye West when you need him? Like, I wish Kanye was there during the endorsement and rushed the stage and took the mic from her. Like, hey, you know, I understand, you know, you want to talk about endorsements, but let's talk about Trump. That would have been funny, you know, but like, again, even him, like, he went down the wrong path too. Like, another guy too, for conservatives, you can also go down the wrong path too. Like, you know, we can have conservative values, but conservative values shouldn't lead you to be racist. Conservative values shouldn't lead you to think crazy stuff about, like, ooh, the Nazis are good, right? That's not conservative values. That's someone who's misguided, who still needs guidance. So people like myself, people like Mike, we walk this path. We have biblical worldviews, we have strong conservative values, but we also know that certain things that the left and the right does is insane. And that's the one thing that we do. Like, the right will call out the insanity on their own side, but the left will just co-sign it, write a bill, put it on a t-shirt, and say, hey, support this nonsense. And it's just complete crap.
Yeah, exactly. And so, guys, if you're not following Jared and I over on TikTok, we're doing a lot of stuff over there. We're having fun. We're having a good time. And I think I didn't get those comments to Darius. I only sent them directly to you, bro. So we'll bring them in the future. You guys can enjoy the meltdowns of the liberals with us over there. But Jared, you know, we have fun. And we had a lot of fun in Philly, and you know, we're gonna have fun in future events, like the next Night of Faith that's coming up in Tampa, I believe. Are you going to that one, Jarrett?
I may be going to that one. I have to see my schedule, but yeah, next Night of Faith is gonna be fire. Florida, the Blexit Florida chapter is one of our largest chapters. I mean, they do great work. They're really in the community. Super grassroots. They work with a lot of great people that we have on our show before, like Pastor Alfred Johnson. He worked with the Blexit Florida chapter. If you want to know more about him, check out our episode about 2 weeks ago, something like that, when he was on with FAMA. Fantastic information, great organization to partner with. We love doing stuff with them too. But yeah, it's going to be a great event. And also, we have we'll drop the graphic tomorrow, but we have a TPUSA Faith Day of Prayer. So the National Day of Prayer coming up, guys. We're going to do fasting and prayer. I believe it's for either 12 or 24 hours, a live stream. So you guys can come on, you guys can watch, you guys can join. And, you know, Mike and I will think what we're going to do that day too for National Night of Prayer. If you have any ideas what you want us to do that day, let us know. Oh, there we go. See, shout out to Darius. You know, that he saved us so many times. Appreciate him so much.
Oh, yes, he saved us this morning.
Yes, the National Day of Prayer and Fasting. So come join. We're going to have, you know, we can have up to like 100,000 people on this call. So let's max it out. We're going to have people from across the country. We're going to have some big time pastors, a lot of local pastors from across the country as well. It's going to be a great time. So share this everywhere. And you know, guys, it's because prayer is needed. We need prayer in this country, not just for the election, not just for ourselves, but for everyone, because prayer is powerful. Prayer wins. Prayer is what you need, guys. And people forget to pray sometimes. And people only pray a lot of times when they need something. And I've been guilty of this. I've been guilty of genie prayers, you know, praying for God when you want to wish something. Oh, God, I need this. Like, that's not how it works. You know, you need to pray all the time when you're doing well, when you're doing bad. You need to pray. Like MC Hammer say, we got to pray just so we can make it today. So we got to keep it moving. I know I just dated myself with the MC Hammer reference. But, you know, if you know, you know.
I know. And guys, you know, we do these things with Turning Point, with Blexit, because we believe in the mission. We're aligned in our mission and values. And you know, I'm excited about the upcoming event in December, the AmFest event. That we're going to have a great time there. We're going to have a booth over there. We're going to be live streaming from there. We're going to do some man on the street interviews. If you guys are out there, do we have that video, Darius? If we do, go ahead and bring it up. But we're going to continue to promote this event because it's one of the most important events for our community. Go ahead.
you represent your presence here at the largest multi-day event in conservative grassroots history. Is a message that will be heard by these people. Phoenix, Arizona, people from all over the country. It's remarkable because it brings everybody together. One of my favorite of the year. Energy is relentless. Want you to see it. The stakes are high. We have only begun to fight.
And that video is a little bit of a lie because the early bird registration is now closed. It says now open. It's now closed. But we're going to be bringing you guys some more promotions about America Fest. You guys want to be there. It'd be a great time. And we love supporting organizations that are doing the work behind our mission as well, behind the messages that we bring to you guys. And speaking of organizations doing the work behind the messaging, Covenant Coffee, guys, covenantcoffee.org. Go check them out online, or if you're in Bakersfield, across the street in Mohawk in California, or on North Chester. But we love supporting Randy Martin and everything they're doing over at Covenant Coffee because they're doing the work behind the scenes. They're supporting the community. They're providing opportunities for the emancipated foster youth, those people so often forgotten about. But not only that, they have great coffee. They have great, they have beans, K-cups. You can go into the coffee shop and get whatever kind of drink you want, but much better than some other organizations that have mermaids on them with a green logo. Won't name any names, but guys, go check them out online, covenantcoffee.org, hope in a cup. So again, we were talking about Swifties and owning the libs, and we're having a fun time over in social media land doing all that. And but as she came out and endorsed Kamala, which, why is a musician, first of all, a surprise that they endorse the libs? I think it's more of a surprise if they can endorse conservatives, because they're frankly the pop culture media that is doing the bidding of the Democratic Party, and people are waking up. People are not taking it anymore. And we have a video to show on this one that of where people are standing, because she's come out with those endorsements, and people are like, hey, we just do your music and shut up.
Swift just endorsed Kamala Harris, and I'm done. I don't want to be a childish cat lady like her. If you really love the cats, you want to let the migrants eat them as pets. That's why I'm replacing all my stuff with end the wokeness stuff.
Let's go. So guys, we're supporting people that are turning away from Swifties. And Jared, I've never been a Taylor Swift fan. I don't see the appeal. I frankly don't really like her music much. But for whatever reason, she's being promoted. And I sent you that video. I don't know if you got it. The kind of connections, and she came from money, and she had a big money marketing machine behind her to make her what she is. And now everybody's, oh, we gotta love Taylor Swift. She's I think that video we started with might be false. Maybe she is a psyops.
Yeah, she's just here to play a game. Again, that's just more psychological operations, or people would say marketing. So Taylor Swift, when she first came out, she was this perfect little country star. I mean, she was America's sweetheart. She said, I grew up on the farm, but her farm was really a mansion. He grew up in
right. It was a farm. It was a big old farm.
yeah, big farm. And so then she went to the pop, and then all the other things. And again, guys, you just buy the appeal. And the funny thing is, everyone's like, "Oh, you got to be so nice to her. Leave this girl alone." Taylor Swift is like almost in her 30s. She's not a high schooler. The fact that she portrays she identifies as a high schooler certain times with songs, because she does all these breakup songs that these girls cry over. and grown women crying out, and then men don't cry at Taylor Swift concerts. A side note: go home, cry in your room or something. Don't cry in public at Taylor Swift concert. But she does all this nonsense, and then she's a college. She's in college now. Now she's college age. I'm throwing back beers. Yeah, I'm chugging. Chasing beers, and then I'm grinding on my boyfriend at the U.S. Open. Mind you, that's not the place to grind on anybody. You know, that's super inappropriate.
Right?
Like, there's no, like, even what
Sporting event.
Like, it's like you're doing it all for attention. We get it. You have a boyfriend. Ooh, yay. We no one cares, Taylor. We know you're going to break up with him soon, make a couple of songs, make some money, and keep it moving. For the rest of us who know music, can't wait till Rihanna comes back, because when Rihanna was on top of the game, Taylor Swift was nowhere to be found. You look at the numbers, Taylor Swift only got famous when she stepped out to go do her lingerie business. Taylor, you know this, Taylor. That's why you're trying to make all this money, trying to do it now, because once these other pop artists come back, you're going to just go back to the I guess back to your farm. Go back to your farm and work the land.
Yeah, go back to your farm. We'd appreciate that. But Amber says she's a Swift fan, so I don't know. We can't be family anymore. I'm kidding, Amber. I love you. But so, you know, Megyn Kelly came out with something about Taylor Swift, and if we have that video, let's bring it up, Darius. But she I think owned Taylor Swift on this one.
The reason she's voting for Kamala Harris is because of Tim Walz's LGBTQ stance. Do you know what Tim Walz has done on the LGBTQ front? Well, here's what's going to happen. A little girl is going to find herself down a rabbit hole on Reddit. Reddit's going to tell her she's actually a boy, and she's going to get sucked into this gender cult, and she's going to say, Mom and Dad, I want puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones, which will sterilize her. And they're going to say, no, you're a girl. And she's going to say, but I want top surgery, this benign thing, this double mastectomy where I'll have tubes coming out of me and I'll never breastfeed a child. I want that too. And they're going to say no. And she's going to go to a judge in Minnesota, and because of Tim Walz, the court will take custody of her, use the Medicaid funds in Minnesota to provide her all of those things, chop off her breasts, sterilize her with the puberty blockers and the cross-sex hormones. And when this girl inevitably comes to the conclusion that she didn't want any of this, that it only added to her problems, which were the divorce and the acne and the puberty and not any trans issue, who is she going to go to then? This is all because of Tim Walz. That's what Minnesota is doing right now to little girls and boys, taking custody away from the parents so that they can have these procedures without any loving parent there to help. And that's what Taylor Swift just endorsed for your children. So screw you, Taylor Swift. Thank you for saying that.
I like the way she ended that, Jarrett. Screw you, Taylor Swift. Yeah, and I'm glad that the rest of my family agrees with me.
Yeah, you know, Taylor Swift is just awful. You know, her music, you know, yeah, I like to be fair. She does have some lyrical content. I don't think she writes her own songs. Maybe she does. Who knows? You gotta look at.
She writes some of them. I know that.
But she has, you know, her music is lyrical, but she has no voice. She's just an image. They're not selling you Taylor Swift because she's a talented singer. She's no Adele. She's no Celine Dion. She's not even a Mary J. Blige. Like, she's not on any of these people's level, but why is she everywhere? Because she's willing to play the game. She's willing to say the stuff that the other people won't say. I trust and believe if Taylor Swift has a child or gets pregnant by Kelsey, she's not having an abortion. Guarantee she'll be a childbearing Catwoman then. Guarantee you, if her child was saying that I was going to be trans, if this wasn't trendy, she would take her child to the doctor. They only do this because it's trendy. You know, if you look at the statistics, and guys, and this is educational purposes, if you look at the statistics of where trans children are, a lot of them are in urban areas, but a lot of them are in affluent areas. So you're telling me one family with 4 kids will have 3 trans kids and 1 non-binary? You mean statistically anomalies happen all the time now in America? You know, there's some kind of agenda forcing there. The trans kid is the new dog in a purse. You know, it's a new trendy thing that affluent people in the suburbs want to say. Oh, look at my trans kid. It's just like saying, look at my new Durango. Oh, look at my new yard. You see the roses I got? It's just something so other people in your gated community make you feel special. It's a bunch of nonsense. And I hate seeing parents abuse, and yes, it's abuse your child like this, and then tampon Tim making abuse legal. The fact that you can take my child away because what you're pushing on them goes against what God has instilled in them, that's insane. No parent should be supporting this, and no one who wants to be a parent down the line should support this, because this can be you. Right now, it's tampons and trans. Next, it could be what they're learning. Next, could be what they're watching. Hey, they can say, "Oh, you know what? We don't want your child's child going against education. We want everyone to work in the fields. We want everyone to work in a factory. We want everyone to do this," and then you're going to go with it because you think this is the moral thing to do. Stop. This is not for our audience, but liberals, stop being tricked because you're stupid and you think you have the moral high ground. People are using you. Companies do it all the time. Trust me, because as a black man, I have seen it every February. So when all the kente cloths come out, and Mike, you know what the funniest thing about kente cloths?
What's that?
Besides the Democrats kneeling with their black power fists like this, and I'm so powerful. That was the pattern worn by the people, the black people who sold other black people into slavery. So you're wearing the exact pattern.
I mean, doesn't that kind of make it more appropriate?
Oh, that's hilarious. That should be their uniform. Kente cloths for all. All Democrats should rock kente cloths 24/7. 100% right, Mike. But that's what they're doing to you. Back into the slave mentality. The same thing our brother Vincent Ellison was saying. God, same thing we played the last couple of days. You guys are all on a giant plantation right now. You guys are all house or field Negroes, depending on where you lie. But you're all on this Democratic plantation. And guess what? The gate is wide open. There's no fence. There's nothing. You can walk out, but you have to make yourself walk out. And if you do it, look at Blexit. Blexit became the largest minority grassroots organization in the country within 5-6 years, just because they know this Democratic plantation is wrong. And we need to break free from this victimhood mentality. Mike, that's what I love about you. You have no victimhood mentality whatsoever. You don't play into it, and you just shut that down. And I love it. Shout out to Tony, man. What up, Tony? Thanks for coming on.
I gotta say, and that's the big thing, and I don't believe in that at all, and I don't think it's a racial thing either. I think people love to play the victim, and that's something that I am very strongly will speak against, Jarrett. The victimhood mentality, because look, I used to have this sign on my door that would read, "You cannot control that which you refuse to accept responsibility for." That's one of the core values of 511. It's one of the core values of my life, is taking personal responsibility. There was a book that came out, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe more. I don't know exactly when it came out, but it was Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. And it was just kind of going through the whole thing. And you were in the military, Jarrett, so you probably have a lot of this, kind of push trained into you, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, that just take responsibility for the things that you need to take responsibility for and stop blaming other people. Because once you take responsibility, then you can do something about it. Just like there was more of that conversation. Maybe we'll bring some more clips from this, but that conversation with Vince Ellis is, quit trying to blame other people for your problems. And the libs like to say, it's because you're black that they won't give you that job, or it's because, it's not because your attitude, it's not because you can't show up to work on time, it's not because you can't bathe properly, it's because you're or because you're black. They want to keep you on that plantation. And that all of this rhetoric is what's led to Trump twice being assassinated. He may have been the only president in our history, and I don't know this for a fact, so y'all can fact check me. I don't care. But for there to be 2 attempts on Trump's life in the past 65 days is just astounding. And now they're trying to come out and say, well, it's Trump's fault, and all this stuff. Can you play that clip 13, Lester Holt, Darius, the libs trying to say that this is Trump's fault.
Today's apparent assassination attempt comes amid increasingly fierce rhetoric on the campaign trail itself. Mr. Trump, his running mate J.D. Vance continue to make baseless claims about Haitian immigrants in Ohio.
So,
wow.
You saw that, Jarrett?
Wow, guys, if you just saw that for the first time, that is mind-blowing. So it's like they're reporting a former president being shot at for the second time, too. Second time, and they're saying, well, the president was almost shot, his rhetoric, and he's so awful. You're saying the same stuff that caused this guy to act. So you're basically saying you're giving these psychos carte blanche to do it again. You are co-signing this. You didn't say this is awful. You didn't say this was wrong. You didn't say we should stop political violence. You're like, well, Trump got shot at today. Oh, well, he talks a lot of trash. He's pretty awful. So that's your response. He's an awful guy. Like, you're saying he deserves to be shot. Then no one should had violence put onto them for political reasons. There was a mayor in Brazil the other day having a mayor's race. He got hit. They threw a chair at him during the debate. Literally threw a chair at him. He's in a hospital. Like, we're going down this path. We're going the path where they're gonna start shooting in third world countries. They do this. There was a busload of people who during one election in South America where they took the people and threatened them by gunpoint to not go vote. And then he did another busload and killed people. We're going down, and this is where we could be next, guys. Trump said it clearly. They're not after him. They're after us, and he's just in the way. And it's shameful that this continues to happen, and the news pushed this agenda. And look, Lester holds ABC News, right? Yeah, ABC News. You guys have, guys, we love coming with facts. So the person who runs ABC News is friends with Kamala. They're good friends. One of her sorority sisters did the moderation. So she has a lot of personal connections there. And there's a whistleblower. Shout out to the whistleblower. If whoever you are, if you're seeing this, come on our show. We'll blow out your screen. But shout out to whistleblower, because this needs to be exposed. We need to continue to expose the sickness of the left. And Mike, this is shameful. They're singing his praises. How like, oh yeah, this guy's great. They're loving this guy, and I hate seeing the joke. And one thing makes no sense to me. Tell me this makes sense to you. So many people celebrating his almost assassination on social media. When last time, shout out to Libs of TikTok, all they did was reshare those posts, and hundreds of people lost their jobs. So these people on the left came and read the room. They're just like. They're just like Swiftie fans. Again, everything correlates back to these super fans, and no one should be fanatical. You shouldn't be a fanatic for a celebrity. You shouldn't be fanatic for your political party. You should have your values. You should vote. But at the end of the day, you guys are praising these horrible values and acting like Kamala is the second coming. Like, you didn't even know who she was beforehand. Let's be real. We saw the jokes. Her not coming around, and all of a sudden the media like, oh, she's the best thing since sliced bread. Completely wrong. And they're going to try to shut down me and you for talking about this stuff. But I always say, they can't stop us. They can only hope to contain us.
Yeah, that's that's right. And the other thing that they're saying, because the libs are ignorant of the facts and they don't pay attention, they don't follow things. They're saying, oh well, the shooter here was a Republican. The previous shooter was a Republican. That's not true. They first of all, the first one was a young kid. I don't know the age of the second one, but the second one, they've come to find that he's been a major supporter of the libs for a long time. In fact, we have some fact checking that we found on Quora. If we can bring that up, the comment about Darius, the one you were going to bring up earlier. Yep, that one. Go ahead and bring it up. So the second shooter tried to off Donald Trump. Let's not say his name. Is yet another white trash Republican, and so on and so forth. The truth is, the white trash lying throughout the entire question donated to Democrats the last two election cycles and posting anti-Trump rhetoric online, also apparently working for Ukrainian volunteer forces recruiting, another non-Republican stance. So keep up. Two Democrats going for Trump. Neither rather good at it, by the way. The younger one at least hit his target. And bringing it back up, I don't know why we took it down. So just remember, he's white trash, but he's the libs. To use the liberal racist dribble you're spewing. So yeah, I get your facts straight before you come out and try to trash talk me and Jarrett. We're gonna check our facts before we start saying things, and we got other people in our organization that fact check me and fact check you all the times to make sure that we're actually bringing the truth. And Jarrett, I thought it was funny that we had proof of life, and I don't think Darius has this video, but we got proof of life. We haven't heard from Biden in months, really, since Kamala's come out. He's been, I don't know where he's been hiding. We got proof of life, but we don't got proof of intelligence. But he did come out. Oh, here we go. Let's bring it up.
attempted assassination against our former president in Florida yesterday. I commend the Secret Service for the expert handling of the situation. And the former president is protected from harm and the subject is in custody. An acting head of the Secret Service is in Florida today assessing what happened and determining whether any further adjustments need to be made to ensure the safety of our former president. Let me just say, there is no, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, those of you who know me, many of you do, no place in political violence for political violence in America. None. Zero. Never. I've always condemned political violence. I always will in America.
Not true.
In America, we resolve our differences peacefully at the ballot box, not at the end of a gun. America suffered too many times the tragedy of an assassin's bullet. It solves nothing and just tears the country apart. We must do everything we can to prevent it and never give it any oxygen.
Well, I agree with at least part of what he's saying.
Jim Carrey or Chris Pratt was on fire just now. That's shout out to conspiracy people. Again, I don't believe in conspiracies, but some of our fans think that that's Jim Carrey or Chris Pratt in a mask. Pretty funny.
I don't think Chris Pratt's going to support Biden.
I don't think so either. Maybe for that check. No, he has morals. He won't do it for a check. Maybe Jim Carrey, because he's Canadian, so he doesn't really, care about America. But shout out to Canada too. Just any Canadian people watching, come to us the right way. We got you. I know you're sick of what's going on up there. You got a prime minister or president guy who so pro this, pro that, but likes to wear blackface. It's hilarious, guys. You want to come have a real country? Come on to our side. We got you. Just bring some maple syrup and we're good to go. But it just shocks me that these guys come out here and he's like, I've always been against this. I've been a supporter for 40. Really, you've been a supporter for political violence your whole life, against political violence your whole life? No, you didn't. You just talk about it because it's topical. You got to do a soundbite, but you don't care. You're going out there because you're trying to save face for Kamala. That's what you're doing. That's not anything about Trump, because she's not going to go out and say it. I haven't seen a single statement from her about Trump and God bless him, anything like that. Someone trying to kill your political rival and you haven't said a single word. You know what? I respect candidates who do that. There's a great guy running for office in New Jersey named Billy Prempe, right? And he's running against Bill Pascal. Pascal passed away like 3 weeks ago, and they had a heated battle for the last 2 terms. And Billy put out the most respectful, most honoring, most endearing message about his opponent, because when he passed, and that shows you how the right is the moral one. The right has the what's the word? Had the coof. The right is actually, they care about things and they have respect for other people, even ones that don't have the same political beliefs. But on our side, Mike, we can't have our political beliefs. We need to be shut down. We're banned. They stop our streaming. And guys, listen, they're purposely lowering our TikTok. We were blowing up, and all of a sudden they start shutting it down. So make sure you follow 511. Once we hit 1,000 views on that, we can go live stream there, and then you guys are going to see. It's going to be a lot of fun. Trust me, we're going to turn it up. But we need your help getting there, because they're trying to shut us down, because we tell the truth. Mike and I say abortion. We don't say unalive. We call it murder. We might say for educational purposes just to shut up the powers to be, but guys, what we're talking about, and we will continue not to be censored. We don't censor anyone on our show either. That's why we give you full disclosure. Someone coming on who's a little blue, we tell you there might be little foul words coming here or there. We let you know. We're all adults, but we give you a heads up too, so you can choose whether or not you want to listen to that. So that's another thing. The Democrats remove the option of choice, especially for minorities and women. They tell you you only have one choice, and that's the choices that they give to you. And that goes back to what Vincent Ellison says. That's that slave mentality. And I'll tell you one thing, Mike, I have never been a slave. I'm not going to be a slave, and I'm not going to help people be slaves. It's unnecessary. It's horrible, and it's something that they can continue to push, and that's why I'm glad we have this show, and I'm glad that we are calling out this nonsense, because right now Taylor Swift, guys, she's as Vince Ellison says, she's a slaver. She's whipping you guys into direction with her saying, guys, vote this way, and support this. The crazy thing about her endorsement is not the endorsement, because we all know she was going to endorse Kamala. The crazy thing is her reasoning. Her reasoning is insane, and Megyn Kelly summed it up perfect. I don't need to reiterate it, but that reasoning, Mike, should scare everyone, because again, they don't care about what they're saying. They care about their likes, their clicks, and selling some records, and that's all they care about. And they're willing to use us for that, Mike. and shameful. And they want to make you, a white man, the scapegoat. They're trying to make you the bad guy for this. It's horrible, man. It's funny. I put on a Trump hat in a video. They share it and they say stuff. Mike puts on a Trump hat. Our whole page gets blocked. And that's totally unfair. And he never say anything. Like I just say I gotta say more crazy stuff on this than he does, and he gets banned for speaking the truth. And they're like, "Oh, I want to ban him because he's black, because he's a Trump supporter, but he's black." Racism, my internal racism, or my political thing. They can't figure out which one to use because they're insane. And it's not fair, Mike. It's not, because you have some great content, and so do a lot of people out there, and strong white men out there with some great content too. And you're told that you're monsters. No, the liberals are monster. Tampon Tim is a monster. I mean, not a good one. He's like a weird monster. Like, he's not scary. He's more like the monsters you see in Disney during the Halloween part. Like one of those
Monsters Inc.
Yeah, he's like a Monster Inc. Or real monsters back in the day. He's like one of those real monster things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like one of those things. Check it out, guys.
What was the guy? The movie with Fred Savage with the monsters under the bed?
Little Monsters. Yeah, he's Little Monsters. He's drinking. Yeah, and that's what they're doing. They're just like in Little Monsters. The country is our apple juice, and he's destroying it. If you know the movie, you know what I'm talking about. This. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe we'll show a clip, but we'll drop
maybe later. But the media mind control manipulation that's been going on for frankly decades, and the CIA came out and admitted to this. I don't know when it was, but Project Mockingbird, we've talked about it many times, and now they're saying, oh well, it doesn't exist anymore. And I thought the funniest thing, I think we shared this on the show yesterday, was Merrick Garland came out and said, there's not two justice systems. There very clearly is two justice systems. So now we got the trolls, and there's not a better word to describe them. The trolls in our comments they're saying, Trump's a felon and he's got 34 convictions. And first of all, those are about to be overturned anyway, by the way, because they were all fake trumped up. I hate using his name in that, but made up charges that were brought by Alvin Bragg in the court in New York. Of course, it was a liberal court. They went venue shopping for that, and of course they had to get somebody who wanted to be political on the bench, and there was a whole agenda behind that, so they could say, oh yeah, he's a felon. Well, guess what? The same people that persecuted and prosecuted Trump for frankly made up charges that they took way out of context, they way manipulated and abused the justice system. And Jarrett, we should do a special on that, exactly, going into detail, because I think a lot of people don't realize and don't understand exactly what happened there. But they have been doing this media manipulation, mind control thing for a very long time, and we have a video of some from social media talking about this as well. And if we can bring it up, I think it's number 17, Darius. But I love the fact that we have a lot of former liberals. Our friend Viv Ivey is one of them, contributed for 511, and someone we bring on here all the time, that they're waking up and knowing the truth, and as soon as they see the truth, they're switching sides. Go ahead and bring up the video here.
Believe it or not, I used to be a Trump hater. I thought he was racist, homophobic, xenophobic, sexist, all the things. And all it took was me doing my own research, finding out that everything that they would tell us about him was a complete lie. I soon came to find that the way the mainstream media works is they manipulate everything with context by taking everything he says out of context. It was actually pretty reality shattering, and I had to rethink everything that I thought about him. It got me to see that I had been under mind control from all the information that was fed to me from the powers that be. And when I started thinking for myself and actually seeking the truth, the MAGA community was there and welcomed me with open arms, and I was finally free. Feels so good to be free.
So many red-pilled Dems and former liberals coming out and saying these things. And Tony had a comment in our comments, and I want to bring this up because I think he's right. I agree with him. Go ahead and bring that up. A month ago, and maybe it was a little bit longer than this because she's been on the campaign trail for a couple months now, but more or less essentially what you're saying here, Tony, we agree with you. You're right. We hadn't heard from Kamala. She hadn't anything, and she's the one who was the last one in the room. She's the one who's walking closest to Joe Biden, who, by the way, hates her guts. And she's she's now trying to distance herself as much as possible from the same kind of policies that she has endorsed and espoused for really, frankly, all of her career. And at the same time, she has her own family who's trying to distance themselves from her. And Jarrett, I'm going to let you talk about that, but I think we have a video on that. Do we have a video on that, Jarrett?
I think so, but if not, I don't think we have the video. But yeah, she's definitely trying to distance her family. And you're right, no one knew who she was. The funny thing, the reason I knew her before she ran for office and when she ran for presidency, because we knew her in the Black community as Montel Williams' side chick. Like Montel Williams would go out to the award show, and he had 2 women on each arm. Like, who's this Indian lady on his arm? Oh, that's Kamala Harris. And everyone ignored this. She's in this like this loose fitting dress, and like she has like a dog collar chain type thing on, like a choker. And this is gonna be our president. Montel Williams' side chick, when he was dating 2 women, you were woman number 2. Like, I understand sister wife, that's what you do, that's what you do, but that's not representing the country. And and you talking about knowing the truth and truth about people, like Alvin Bragg, right? Everyone thinks he's this huge hero, but let's talk about what he did to Madeline Brame. We talked to her. We'll show that video at some point. We'll drop it maybe on a clip or a short. But when her son was viciously murdered, and he dropped the charges because they quote unquote didn't have enough money to persecute these murderers, but they had enough money to go after Trump, right? So you let murderers walk who killed a veteran, a veteran who killed a veteran who just got out, who was just protecting his father, and then you let these people walk. But then you guys go and you sing the praises of, we don't like it, we hate felons, boo, 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 boo. But then you're worshiping next to a statue of George Floyd, right? Or you're saying, we hate felons, we hate criminals, get rid of all the criminals. Trump's a criminal, we don't need a criminal. Hey, illegal immigrant, thanks for coming. Here's all your free stuff. Oh, they're not criminals. How dare they be criminals? You're the criminal for having free thought. This is the nonsense we do. And this is why people like Kamala's family or Tim Walz's family are pulling away, because they know this nonsense. It's a bunch of crap. For lack of better words, it's a bunch of nonsense. And it's going to continue. I love how she said, time for change. It's time for moving. It's time for change. That's directly from the Communist Manifesto. But you guys all ignore it because you're not deep diving, because you're not paying attention, because it's not in a short video clip. Taylor Swift is not talking about her communist background, so you don't care. Start caring about more.
We do have this video clip. Go ahead and bring it up, Darius.
And we are not going back. America is ready for a new way forward. We are not going back. We together will chart a new way forward. We're not going back. Together we'll move forward.
We're not going back. Forward together. Folks, this has literally been the slogan of the Communist Party for the past 10 years. I'm not even joking. If you go to the Communist Party USA's website, 3 years ago, Communist co-chair Rosanna Cambron literally wrote an article titled, "We're Not Going Back, Forward Together." Rosanna is a communist through and through, and she's unashamed of it.
That's how we communists work. This is how you build that movement that's going to be the massive movement that we need to topple capitalism.
It's not a coincidence that this just so happens to be Kamala Harris's campaign slogan.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence. She supports that stuff. Shout out to was that Craig Johnson who made that video? Shout out to all the people who get this content. Keep going. Support everyone that we share and support us as well. But yeah, guys, communism never works. Especially that old lady. Come on, you're coming from a communist country. You left that communist country because it failed, and now you want to bring it here to America. She only wants to do that because she wants to be the elite. She saw all those people in communism. They're eating with the fat foods and the fancy cars. She said, I want that. So she's trying to do this in America. Communists do not care about you. They want everything from themselves. It creates such a wealth gap. And the one thing I love about capitalism, you have a chance to move forward. In most countries around the world, you are born into your class system. Capitalism gives you a chance to leave your class system and move up or move down accordingly to how much you work or how much you invest. And that's great. That levels the playing field. You could be born broke and now die a billionaire because you put it into work. You can't do that in England. You can't do that in France. You can't do that in Africa or even anywhere else. All the other countries you guys want to be like. You can't do that there. But you're not capitalism while drinking your $10 mochachinos and talking on your iPhone 16s. And, it's ridiculous. And it's always people who either want to take advantage or never even spoke to someone from those countries. And this is why Kamala is so dangerous, because she cares about this. And Mike, it's funny, we were walking through Philadelphia and I was looking at some of this stuff and I'm like, oh, this is disgusting. Trash everywhere. And you were like, I was so taken back. You're like, oh, this is pretty clean. Like,
it was because I've been to LA and I've been to even Bakersfield now, who's been for the longest time a red state or red city in a blue state. And after 2020, after COVID, like they've destroyed this state, and the same governor who has destroyed the state has tried to come out and gaslight us and say, oh, electric bills are cheaper than they were a few years ago. Everybody who's watching this, who's in California, is going to call the BS card, because we all know the truth. I think we're at a place now where it's like $1,000 is what we're paying to PG&E, which Jared, I know you're like, that's insane. But Kamala was part of this California system, and I was mentioning before, even her own family has tried to distance themselves from her, and she's destroyed their name. Go ahead, Darius, and bring up that video.
You oppose legalizing weed.
That's not true.
I know.
and look, I joke about it, half joking. Half my family's from Jamaica. Are you kidding me?
You ever smoked?
I have.
Okay.
And I inhaled. I did inhale.
It's really hysterical for the former attorney general of that state to talk about doing something illegal, laughing about it, giggling about it, and trying to get some traction for it. Among the people that were upset by it, her dad, Donald Harris from Jamaica, an economics professor at Stanford University, says this: my dear departed grandmothers, as well as my deceased parents, must be turning in their grave right now to see their family's name, reputation, and proud Jamaican identity being connected in any way, jokingly or not, with the fraudulent stereotype of pot-smoking, joy-seeking, and in pursuit of identity politics. Man, what a blast at his daughter, who wants to be the next president.
No kidding. He added, and he had sent.
And this is coming from her Marxist economist dad, who, by the way, if y'all, we've given you so much evidence of how she's a Marxist. I don't know how you can deny it, but she's going to bring rainbows and puppies and joy to the world as soon as she. What has communism ever brought to the world other than death and destruction? Every country you look at that has come into communism. Especially from either a democracy or, we're not a democracy, we're a republic, and make sure that's important that you guys remember that. But what other country has adopted communism and done better because of it? And if you can point one out to me, I'd love to hear about it, but I guarantee you cannot.
Yeah, if you find one, we'll send you to it. If you could find me a country that has communism that is working for the existence of the country, we'll buy you a first-class ticket there, because you're not going to find one. And I watched that video, was telling about her. She is being claims to stereotypes, because her father was right. When talking about Jamaican heritage, she could have talked about food. She could have talked about music and the influence of music. She could have talked about the influence of religion, because in the Rastafarian faith, which some of the Jamaicans are, they have a reverence for the Lord. Like some of them, there's two different versions of them. One worships God and Jesus, and they say Yah. Another one worships this man, right? But the Searchers that worships Jesus are hardcore. They love the Lord. All their music's about praising God and God walking with them. And she didn't talk about any of that. She said, oh, I'm going to talk about smoking weed with Tupac, listening to Tupac. And hey, guys, Mike's from Cali, so I'm going to drop this. Tupac was not out yet when she said that. When she was in college, Tupac was still with Humpty Hump, carrying his records around. So you want to say, oh, yeah, I was listening to Tupac, Hail Mary. No, you weren't. And you're lying. So you're lying to play yourself. And I get it. I get Hillary doing it because she thought, I gotta win this black vote. I got hot sauce in my purse, But you as a black woman, right? Let's take this. You as a quote unquote black woman, why are you pandering? Why would you pander to black people?
Because she doesn't actually understand the community. She doesn't understand their culture. When she's talking about washing collard greens in the back, whoever did that, Jared?
No one. She would be disinvited to every barbecue. Wouldn't go out to her cookout. Trust.
Nobody would be eating that garbage.
No, it would have been nasty. In her tub, like you watch them in the sink, like you watch them in bunches. Who makes some great collard greens? And it's not even a race thing, because Reverend Greg Quinlan makes some fire collard greens. So like, shout out to him. He check out his episodes. He's a great contributor for us. But Reverend Gray Quigley makes some great collard greens. So it's not even a race thing. It's an ignorant thing. But these liberals make everything about race, especially when it comes to black votes. There's no reason to go to Hot 97 and talk about smoking weed. You could have talked about lack of fathers in black homes, black on black violence, low reading scores, things that matter to black folks.
She's the one who was locking up all of these, really not, major crimes committed. She was locking up all of the black people, and she was bragging about that when it was politically convenient to do so. And now she's washing collard greens in her bathtub and smoking pot on Hot 97.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I hear so many people in conversation with black folks saying, oh, now weed's legal, so all these black men went to jail for no reason. It's so wrong. And then you turn around like, oh, I love Kamala. She's so awesome. Oh, it's so wrong. My brother's in jail for 20 years for a dime bag. Oh, Kamala's the best. Like, dude, like the crime bill. Like she used that 91 crime bill that was written by Democrats because they, and again, guys, here's a quick history lesson. The reason they had the 91 crime bill is because George Bush, Willie Lynch commercial was so good and exposed the failures of the left. They let Willie Lynch out of jail on a furlough, and he ended up killing somebody. So they're like, oh, we have to get harder with crime. So the Dems double, triple, quadruple down in crime. And just like they always do, they went overboard. And they went unjust crime bill to the point where Bill Clinton's apologizing. Have we heard Kamala apologize for this bill yet? Bill Clinton has apologized. You know, the time they were calling us super predators. She was putting these quote-unquote super predators in jail, making her name off the backs of black men, putting them in prison. And then she said, oh, I'm a champion for all these civil rights stuff. No, you're not, dude. Like, if you really wanted to make changes, you would have known, all right, this guy, you're going to send him to jail for a year for a $5 bag of weed. Like, you know how much more money it costs to put this person in jail instead of sending him to rehab or getting him a ticket? You know, like if you want to smoke all the other stuff, again, our libertarian friends, you know, they don't care what you do either way, right? So how it's our libertarian friends, I know you guys support this type of stuff, right? But in the same regards, this is unnecessary. And then other crimes that are horrible, they ignore. Illegal immigrants killing people. She doesn't want to talk about that. She wants to ignore all that. What's the name of the woman that Biden refuses to say and Kamala had never said yet? Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley. You haven't said that name. You haven't said anything about that. But you can do all these other things, and that's why it's just pandering. You don't care about the crime. You just care about the image of you caring about the crime, and that's a sign of a psychological operations. It's all about image. It's all about what you see. But just like, you know what, I think Vincent Ellison made such an impact on me this weekend. It's all about what you see.
I love that conversation.
You know, you might see something 100 times, and then you're going to see it once for the first time. I'm asking you to tell all your friends, all your family, everyone that you care about, even people you can't stand, to look at Kamala for that 101st time. Take some new eyes and look at her and look at what's really going on, guys, because we have to. Because Mike, this is scary, and we don't get scared. You know, I have the Lord backing me, so I'm not scared. But I'm using that word as the only word I can think of that I can't say that's not going to get us banned. I like to use other choices of words, you know, me being a veteran, but I'm gonna keep it PG or actually G. I'm gonna keep it Disney. Well, not woke Disney. I'm keeping it old school. And keep censor myself. And also, guys, gotta have fun too. Like, you know, we can't be that party. They're so angry. How do you wake up so angry all the time? Especially because these liberal areas, you know, if you step over all the homeless people and all the poop on the ground and all the immigrants and all the violence, there's some nice areas once you get past the destruction. And you
if they can never get them cleaned up.
No, except when there's a something happening. Oh, Detroit got cleaned so well for the DNC. Where did all the homeless people go?
Did you remember in California when San Francisco got cleaned up when Xi Jinping came to town?
Yeah, because they had to bow down to their Chinese warlords because he didn't want to see the thing. And dude, I walked through Philly, and that morning on Sunday, I was walking through. I saw at least 10 homeless people sleeping next to steam grates. Now, if you're not from the East Coast, and they have tunnels and trains and stuff in the sewer, but steam comes up from them like the Ninja Turtles. So homeless people sleep next to them to stay warm, but these things stink and they're toxic fumes. So you're telling me some of these guys are homeless, some are veterans, some of these guys have mental issues, and they have to sleep on the streets while illegal immigrants get 4-star hotels. You know, I'm not agree with the reason some of these people are on the streets, but I'll be damned if American citizens gets pushed to the side while our tax money goes to people who are stealing from us. I'd rather my tax money go to a junkie on the streets to help them get clean and get into a nice place than to a legal immigrant who's going to come here, have 15 kids, use all our benefits, and watch all the minorities get pushed out for their black jobs. And guess what? You want to get mad about that black job stuff Trump said? Biden came out and said, oh, you know, I raised 200,000 black jobs. When he says it, it's no problem. When Dr. Umar says it, it's no problem. But when Trump says something, it's a problem. And that's that more selective rage done through their psychological operations. You see how everything loops back to that psychological psyops thing? And that's what it is, people. All of these are steps and pieces in that major plan. You might see one part of it or another part, but look, get outside your fishbowl and look objectively at what's going on. And you're going to see a serious, scary plan taking place. And we're going to keep fighting it. You know, Mike and myself, they're not going to stop us. We're going to keep going till the wheels fall off. You know what I mean? Right. They can't stop us. We keep trying, you know, because this is what you do. But you know what? And I think we have a good way we do it. I think we have fun when we do it. You know, like we're pretty cool. We're like cooler than the other side of the pillow. You know what I mean? Like we're laid back. You know, but we get on fire when we need to. So like guys, we talk about just have some fun. Don't be doom and gloom and Debbie Downer when you're talking about this stuff. One thing about Blexit I learned from Brandon Tatum, when you're talking about this stuff, leave somebody empowered. Don't just be like, oh, the world's over, everything's gonna end. Yeah, stuff is happening that's bad, but we have a chance to change it. So don't fall for that liberal trap and be sad and depressed, like, oh, we're gonna lose everything. No, we're gonna win, but we have to put in the work because faith without works is dead.
That's right, guys. We got to put in the work. We got a big push from now till November. Jarrett and I are doing everything we can. We got a super busy schedule. You guys, we did put out some resources that I think I want to highlight before we wrap the show here. But number one is tpaction.com. Those guys are doing everything they can to get out the vote, GOTV, as Jarrett likes to abbreviate it, but trying to push to make a difference in the swing states and the swing counties across the U.S. in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona. But we also have recently put out a guide on how you can be more involved and what you can do to make a difference in this as well. And you can go check that out. We'll send it to you. If you just drop playbook in the comments, we'll make sure that you get that. So guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, we'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day.